And I want to say, Dino, thank you for really helping us so much. I know you came out to our practice. Our team still talks about the lecture and the interaction that you had with not only on relationships, body language, everything that way, and then personally, how much you changed my marriage.
Aw.
I'm really grateful for that, and it really I know that's your mission, and I know it's an awesome one. I don't know anybody with that same mission that you have, and it has affected us in a way that's changed our lives, it's changed our kids, hopefully generationally, as well as our team members and all of the patients that we touch. So I really, really appreciate you. Thank you.
Wow.
My name is Garrett Gunderson. I wrote a New York Times bestselling book called Killing Sacred Cows. And I want to tell you about the business of marriage and Dino Watt, because I'm going to tell you things that he's not going to tell you. Why? Because he's holding confidentiality. He doesn't want to disclose any information. But this is the bottom line. First and foremost, I live a pretty good life, have good things going on, but I had never really invested money into my relationship and into my marriage, and I found myself after 9 years of marriage having more contention, more fighting, not being on the same page. And you know what? The best thing that I ever did was write a check to go through business of marriage, because it totally transformed my relationship with my wife. We have this really cool thing that we learned there on the fast food versus gourmet, and I mean, I got to tell you, you're going to love hearing about it and learning about it, and it's been great for us. And what's cool is, Dino calls me on my crap, but he calls my wife on her crap, and he helps us integrate systems to be successful. As a matter of fact, we're going to engage a second round with him because it was so successful the first time, and I think some people make a mistake and they go, oh, well, that worked. I'm going, oh, that worked. I want it to continue working. So it's not like, oh, we're broken and we need more. It's like, hey, we're in a good place. Let's keep this thing going. I love where we're at. I love the level of romance on our relationship. I like that we have a better way of communicating, and then we had someone to kind of help us get through things that we couldn't see, or the patterns that we couldn't interrupt, and just give us a fresh perspective, fresh insight. And I've even introduced him to everyone in my firm. And I was just talking to one of our key guys, his name's Del Clark. He's like, everybody in the firm has to go through this. It's so powerful, it's so phenomenal. Love the event. And so look, if you're thinking about doing it, you're thinking the right thoughts, but it's a matter of doing it. So just do it. Because here's the thing, we invest all the time in businesses, in investments, in trainers for exercise, and doctors. But what about investing in our marriage? I could tell you this, you don't invest in your marriage, everything else suffers. Your business, your life, your mentality. And so if you want to have an increase in energy, a peak in romance, just a great family, this is a great thing for you. And Dino, he holds your information confidential, but I'm just going to tell you that we resolved some pretty important issues in our sex life. We resolved some pretty important issues in, how my wife felt about, she couldn't really share anything because I'm a public figure, and we just had such a safe format. And, I'm just telling you, do the program. I'm Garrett Gunderson. I have an Inc. 500 firm, and this is one of the great investments that I've done, and I look forward to a long relationship with Dino Watt in the business of marriage.
I'm Dr. Christina Stitcher, and my husband and I worked with Dino over this last year. Craig and I have met Dino and known him for a couple years, and through a series of introductions through a bunch of other business associates that we highly value, especially through Freedom Fast Track, we committed to working with Dino. And through that process, my husband and I have absolutely learned to reconnect, to have more appreciation and respect for one another, but to deepen our communication with each other. We thought we were good communicators, but realized how much we were actually sabotaging ourselves and our relationships with how we brought our baggage to the table rather than acknowledging it and working through it. I can tell you after this experience working with Dino that Craig and I are, we're happy. Life is good. We're able to reconnect faster. We're able to reset our marriage if needed. But it's not even the reset that's the most important. It's the fact that we now have a bond that goes and we build on it week by week with using our masterminds and our check-ins with each other. And really what's happening is we're growing with each other. And that is really exciting to know that we were at a point where honestly I was frustrated. I didn't know where I wanted to continue with our marriage, if I wanted to continue with our marriage. And it's now one to say it's improved our marriage drastically. And I'm very happy for this influence from Dino and this skill set that we've learned, but also for the future that I have with my husband, and knowing that with this, how much further we can go. So I'm thrilled. And I will say thank you, Dino, because I sure appreciate everything you've taught me. And it's one that, as a business owner, I will also make the additional statement, it has absolutely helped me be a better business owner and manager with my staff and with my doctors. It is highly valuable in every aspect of my life, and I'm thrilled for what it's done for me. So thank you.
I'm Angela Johnson with Soul Vision Business. A couple years ago, I attended Dino's business and marriage workshop with my husband. And I have to say that the last 2 years of my marriage have been the best. I've been together with Richard, my husband, for over 9 years. And why did that change 2 years ago? What changed? Because honestly, when I met Dino and found out about the business and marriage workshop, things were going pretty well. I had a pretty good marriage. I wasn't too upset, but I knew that there was some work to do because I didn't want to just become roommates with my husband. And I see a lot of couples doing that, and I didn't want that. The other thing that I recognized is the bigger I was playing in my business, I was actually pulling away from my marriage because I didn't want to jeopardize. I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to change the rules, so to speak. And so I started seeing that because I wasn't showing up in my marriage completely, I wasn't showing up for myself, and my business was also taking that impact. It was showing up in my bank account. And so fast forward from 2 years ago to where I am now, the last 2 years have been the best of our marriage. We're madly in love with each other after being together for over 9 years. That's pretty remarkable. And my business has absolutely exploded. Why? Because I feel secure in my marriage, I feel secure in that relationship, and we can support each other in a way that we've never supported each other. So we're going after our dreams in addition to building a really rock solid, amazing, and blissful marriage. So I highly recommend Dino's Business and Marriage Workshop. You will not regret it. It will change everything in your life.
All right, this is Wade and Catherine Reed. We're here at the Business of Marriage event. Business of Marriage is actually something I heard of from a friend of mine, probably September of last year. In addition to that first connected us with Dino and Shannon Watt, and the cool thing is because of that connection, we actually got a chance to become a part of one of their mentoring experiences before coming to the event. They have a pod they've put together, which is pretty cool. What do you think about it?
6 months of mentoring, 6 one-on-ones with Shannon, which has been so powerful, but also just the group calls and networking with these other couples who are focusing on their marriage. What you focus on expands, and so every week, every Tuesday night, we get on these calls and webinars and go out to dinner with them, and we're focusing on trying to have a better marriage, and so it's been so amazing for us, changed our marriage literally.
It has been so powerful for us in that we're taking away a greater connection. So we're here together on a getaway weekend, our kids are away. That's probably the biggest thing, is we've connected at a deeper level, and we've connected with other couples who are trying to expand their marriage as well.
Well, for those who are listening, I just strongly encourage you to attend the event. There's a secret surprise that Dino reveals during the talk on intimacy and sex, and it's actually really enlightening and fun, and anyway, a lot of neat tools shared around the bedroom, which is usually taboo to talk about, and so Dino and Shannon are very tasteful in how they give out suggestions, and that was my favorite part. What do you?
Yeah, no, I'd agree that there's actually a safe place provided to have that conversation and to start the conversation more powerfully with your spouse. 100%. You gotta come.
So my husband and I attended Business of Marriage, and a few days before he kind of dragged his feet and was like, I'm so sick of going to these classes with you. You keep doing this. So we went and we had a great time. We actually had a blast. We laughed our little tushies off, and we've been to marriage counseling before and never experienced the results that we experienced at Business of Marriage. And a few weeks after the class, we had a big issue, and I was very angry at him. And we were able to use our skills that we learned from the Business of Marriage and solve the issue without a big screaming match and without doing the whole, you did this because you did that. And it was really, we were more excited that we were able to use our skills and be successful at solving the issue than, I don't know what, but it was awesome. The difference between counseling and marriage for us, or counseling and Business of Marriage for us was, counseling, we sat on the couch, and there was no laughing. It was, you did this, and you did that, and I'm pissed at you, and blah, blah, blah. Just like at home, really not much different than at home. The business of marriage was fun, and we laughed, and laughed, and laughed, and we did a little crying, but we learned so much, and it was in a peaceful, neutral environment, and other couples were sharing their experiences, and it was a lot of fun. Business of marriage changed generations for my family. My parents were married and divorced from each other twice, to and from each other twice. And to know that I never have to worry about that from my husband, and that we can do anything we want to together, and we can create happiness rather than turmoil, my kids have a much different home than I had growing up. And I really appreciate Dino and what he did for our marriage and for our family. Thank you.
I feel like we've had a really good marriage. We've been married 45 years. This year, yeah. 45 years this year. And we've had a very successful marriage, had very successful children. But when we took your seminar, it really lit a spark. And it's just been better ever since. It really made a difference for us. And we're starting to date now. We haven't dated for years, and we plan it. We start planning our dates. We start planning our time together. It's just been a marvelous experience for us. So.
It has been good. Our marriage has been good, as Steve said. But I think through the years you get used to each other and you get absorbed in taking care of children, and then all of a sudden you realize everything's gone, it's just the two of you, and maybe you need to get reacquainted a little bit, put a little spark back into things. It's not that we were close to divorce or anything like that. We have a commitment to each other that we will honor. But it's more fun now. I think there's just been a spark put back in that we had kind of let slip. And it makes each day a little more fun, a little more special, and we're just going to keep doing it till it's just as wonderful as it was when we were first married. You're going to gain so much, and even if you don't think you need it, you're going to learn things that are going to help you have a happier, better marriage.
My impressions of the event were awesome. It was a lot more learning and knowledge of marriage and togetherness and that than I ever expected. The material was great because it made you think. It made you think about what you're doing and what your expectations are. And I would recommend it to any married couple that is wanting to enhance their marriage, make their marriage better to where they have a better communication with each other and a desire to learn more about what's going on in married life. It's been awesome. Our togetherness has been stronger, our communication has been better, we're more open and able to talk, and other things have been better.
Hey, this is Jared and Marilyn Sorensen. We've been married for 21 years, and we heard about the business of marriage from Dino and Shannon. We've been fans of theirs for many years, and I've actually attended the business of marriage on my own before, but this is the first time we've done it together. Before we attended the event, we were kind of on the downhill slide in our marriage, and we were finding some very big gaps that we weren't sure how to fill, and we'd even had the conversation that we weren't really sure why we were married anymore.
Very true.
Well, one thing I liked about the event is I've been to several other seminars in different locations and spent a lot of money to them, and it was a lot of drudging up your past, looking at your inner child, and this was not that type of program.
And I really love that we have really tangible tools that we can use immediately to implement in our marriage, with communication, with money, with sex, all those really hot topics that you're not sure how to handle or to really have a system. And as an entrepreneur, I work with systems in my business all the time, yet we never had those in our marriage, and now we do. And just really systems so that we know how to communicate fair, that we can really not just create, that we can create, communicate, and grow in our marriage.
just a really good thing to have rules on how to argue. So
We can do
invaluable.
We've been married 21 years, but I think even before you get married, it's probably a crucial conversation and event to come to. Whether you're having problems or you're just ready to grow your marriage to a new level, it's the perfect event.
I think this is a basic lesson in how to interact and deal with things in your life in general.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.